what is the one mistake, the biggest mistake that most agencies would never tell their prospects?
To be very honest, and I can say that as an agency owner, it is blindly relying on an agency.
We are in Nuremberg, Germany, and we're about to meet someone very special. This guy is the absolute best marketer I ever had the pleasure of talking to, and he's going to share his super secret process of getting his clients sales on autopilot. If you are an online entrepreneur who wants to scale your business, you're gonna wanna watch this video until the end. But first, we gotta find him in this craziness. I think this is the wrong train. This one goes to München. I want the one that's coming from München. I think I found him. Hey, how's it going?
So our mystery guest is finally here. Matthias, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for making the trip from Munich here, right, to Nuremberg.
Of course. Great to be here.
Awesome.
I'm very excited.
Dude, we've been thinking about this conversation for a few months now, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive straight into it. What are the top mistakes that you see coaches, consultants, and even agency owners when it comes to scaling their business through Facebook, YouTube, or whatever kind of media or ads?
Yeah, well, usually the first thing that always comes to my mind is the expectations. Right? People's expectations regarding scaling, regarding advertising, most of the time they're off. Yeah. So it turns out that there are two extreme examples. For instance, the first example is the expectations are too high.
Right.
Right? People are thinking ads are the holy grail. I just gotta turn on ads. The only thing I gotta do is really just use a simple creative, write some lines, however, here, buy my services. You turn on Facebook ads and clients are coming, money's flowing. So expectations are either off in this direction,
Right.
or they are off in the other direction, which is basically, I don't think at all that ads will work. So they're looking for a solution. Okay, how can I scale my business? One of the obvious answers is running ads, because it is a scalable method, right? But they don't accept it as a solution, if you will, because they simply do not believe in ads, however, right? So either or. But in the rarest cases, the expectations are really on point, where people say, okay, ads work for me. They work in almost every niche. It takes some money. Probably I will burn a few hundred or maybe $1,000 just to test things,
Right.
till it starts working. And then I get appointments booked in my calendar for a solid price, let's say between $30 and maybe $150,
Right.
depending on the niche. And it may take 2 weeks or so till the first appointment comes in, because, well, those are ads. It takes
Right.
some time to nurture a relationship with somebody. That's how it is.
And I think like not having the right expectations when it comes to ads. You kind of mentioned that in one of our conversations. Like when you turn on the ads and then you see your credit card being charged.
Yeah.
And it's charged and it's charged and you're not making money, right? You enter this panic mode and you just want to switch off the ads.
Exactly. When you're not used to run ads, you're literally sitting in front of your notebook and you're sitting there watching, how the money is getting charged from the credit card, and you're clicking on a refresh button in the ads manager to see what's a new click coming in, and you literally count the dollars every minute that you're spending. So then this is, of course, a very, very uncomfortable feeling. But you gotta get used to it.
So-
it's the only way.
Listen, imagine the person who's watching right now, and thank you so much for tuning in. Imagine that you were having a conversation with this person, right? And your job is, with how you would do with a client, setting the right expectations, right, for their campaign. Like, what would you tell, our viewer now in that sense? How would you set the right expectation?
Well, I would be very clear, very transparent from the beginning and say, look, we had clients in this very niche. We know what the very benchmarks are. Let's say you are in the weight loss niche, just as an example, a pretty simple example I'm always using.
Right.
And if you're running Facebook ads, something like messenger campaigns, and booked appointment will cost you in the beginning around $80. Yeah, and then it will go down to, let's say, $40 per booked appointment in your calendar.
Right.
Right. And you can say, look, it takes 3-4 days to get the first messages, to book the first appointments manually from there, and from there through optimization over the next 2 or 3 weeks, this cost will go down linearly, almost linearly, to
Right.
$40. This is what you can expect based upon our experience, based upon the work of our clients. That's how I would approach this.
You know, that's Matthias's main niche, right? Fitness
I would
coaches and
say
consultants,
so.
right?
Yes.
Well, what would you say to somebody who's like, for example, in my niche, right? Let's say I want to run ads, and we did, test a few ads together. How would you set the expectation for somebody who's selling an intangible, like let's say energy healing coaching, or whatever that's more like harder, less physical?
Yes, that's for something completely intangible.
Yeah.
Yes. So the expectations would be more like, okay, obviously we do not have too many clients in this niche because it's a very, let's call it a rare niche. Yeah. So we simply gotta see. I would expect if we run YouTube ads through a VSL funnel, I would expect the first appointments between $150 and maybe $300.
Right.
But that's okay. That's really okay just to get started, to test, and then we simply have to see how it evolves.
Beautiful.
In this very instance, I could not promise anything that you can go down to $30. It would be wrong to say that.
Yeah.
Simply have to see.
I'm sure that some people do.
Yeah, of course. Most agencies still do. They will promise you the heaven, if you will, but that's simply not realistic. And you got to be very careful once you're on a call with an agency like this. Realistic is in this very instance between $300 and $80 per booked appointment. We simply got to see. It takes the first 2 to 3 weeks to test it, and then I can tell you more.
Yeah, and it comes down to also knowing your numbers, because like at the end of the day, if you're making more money than you're spending, it's worth it. Like more,
Exactly.
like drastically more
Exactly.
money than what you're
If the
spending.
margins are there, it's
Yeah.
easy.
Beautiful. What's the second mistake that people?
Beautiful keyword. We just had the margins.
Margin.
The margins.
Nice.
The thing is, what most people underestimate is the power of having margins. If you, let's take it as an example, a 5K offer. You're selling a 3 months, 4 months coaching program for $5,000.
Right.
Honestly, you do not care if the booked appointment costs you $100 or $150 because your margins are so high that it's so, let's call it quote unquote simple.
Right.
It is simpler to become profitable with this. And most people underestimate this very thing. Those are the very guys who are sitting there in front of the notebook complaining, the lead cost yesterday was $9, today it's $10, I'm almost unprofitable. Yes, but it's not because your ads are bad or you're doing a bad job in the ads manager or however.
Right.
It's really just because your business margins are not set up to become profitable.
Right.
So this is the very thing you should take a look at before you start running ads or any kind of method in order to scale your business. Are the margins there?
Yeah.
Is it simple and easy for you to become profitable with this? Because if you have the margins, you don't worry about anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's say it costs you $300 for a booked appointment, and you close 1 out of 10, right? Cost you $3,000 to create those, but you're still making $5K,
Yes.
right? If you have referral systems in place, that $5K turns
Exactly.
into more money, right?
Exactly.
Even if you suck at closing, and like 1 out of 10 is not sucking really at closing, but you also need to have like good systems in place in terms of
Absolutely.
sales and referrals, and it's like you got to think like a business owner at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. And that's what many people underestimate. They take a look at their front end margins. Yeah, what is the offer I'm selling? But they never take a look at the customer lifetime value.
Right.
The person is giving me a referral. The person is giving me a video testimonial. However, and all this is a compounding effect. Video testimonial will strengthen your organic marketing, for instance.
Right.
The referral, even though you're paying a commission 10-15%, the customer lifetime almost doubles. And at the end of the day, the one with the highest customer lifetime value will always dominate the market.
Yep.
Because he can simply
about the
afford higher
experience.
lead prices.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are ways. I mean, like having referral systems. That's one of the smartest ways because
Yes.
it doesn't cost you anything,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But that's a topic for another video. And we can discuss that some other time. So, what's the third?
Okay, we covered the expectations. We talked about the margins, the customer lifetime value, all of this. The next step would be definitely the approach, the scaling method they're using. And this is now a topic that not many agencies touch on. This is something that you hear very rarely because, well, I'm an agency, I'm selling advertising services, but not ads are not the best solution for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, there are certain niches out there, or niches, however you want to call it, who simply perform better in their scaling process if they scale manually through offline methods. So the thing is, many people do not understand is that you only have two real scaling systems. Either it is a manual approach or it is an automated advertising approach.
Right.
Organic is not an approach, because you cannot say in organic marketing, okay, if I want to have 10 clients next month, I simply 10x my effort in organic marketing. It won't work.
Right.
But you can
Right.
definitely 10x an advertising budget, and you could 10x, let's say, manual outreach methods by hiring 10 new people.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you only have two real scaling methods, either manually through employees,
Right.
through acquisition, direct acquisition, or automated way through ads. And those are the only real scalable methods. And many people do not understand this. So to get to the point, sometimes it makes more sense to hire employees who do some kind of direct outreach. Is it through a direct mailing,
Right.
cold calling,
Right.
compared to ads? Because there are certain target audiences out there who are easily approachable through offline methods. For instance, dentists. If you're a business consultant for dentists, if you're an agency service provider for dentists, they're busy the whole day working for their patients.
Yeah, they're not going to be on Facebook
They're
looking
not
at
gonna
ads.
be on Facebook. So it's way cheaper for you to hire somebody who sends out direct mailings, for instance.
Right.
Yeah, and do a follow-up
Calls.
cold call.
Yeah.
It will be way cheaper. Yeah. And well, and then there are certainly other niches who would profit more or benefit more from advertising.
Right.
Those are usually the basic B2C niches that you see in weight loss, dating, everything related in B2C usually performs amazingly well with ads.
And I think like it's also like one of the first marketing principles that I learned from my first ever business and marketing mentor, right? Where is your audience?
Exactly.
Where do they spend their time, right?
Exactly.
Are they on Facebook looking at ads? Or are they working the whole day and then
Yeah.
at the end just watching some Netflix and just, taking a break,
Yeah.
right? Like it really comes down to knowing where they are, like kind of reaching them where they're at.
Exactly. You gotta find them exactly there where they're hanging out.
Yeah.
This is the very key. And usually through ads it works amazingly well, because if you're talking about certain problems in your ads or certain symptoms of the audience, by a click the person is identifying himself
Right.
with having the problem. And one important thing that people need to understand, and that's very, very important, a click on an ad or an engagement with an organic marketing post, however, never, ever, ever happens randomly. Never, ever. There is always a certain intention behind it, a very reason why somebody clicked on something.
Right.
No person ever clicks randomly on an ad without any intention behind it.
Yeah.
And especially for intangible services or more difficult services where the audience is not clearly identifiable, ads are an amazing solution, because people identify themselves with the content of the ads. Yeah, they put themselves into the target audience by clicking on the ads.
Right.
Yeah, would be, for instance, dating services. How can you see online if somebody is struggling with
Single,
dating? You
yeah,
cannot see it.
yeah,
People
yeah.
have to identify themselves with it through and click. Yeah.
Would this be like another mistake, like not really speaking the language of your
Absolutely.
audience? Right.
Absolutely. And a very popular example here is really when you're taking a look at business coaches or any kind of agency service providers who are trying to help you get more clients. Yeah, this is a beautiful example. If you're asking the gym owner and you ask him, you want to have more clients, he will always say, no, what the f-? I
Right.
want to have more clients.
Right.
But if you would ask him, do you want to have more gym members or test memberships? However,
Right.
say yes. Sounds good. If you would ask the dentist here again, you want to have more clients, he would say no. He would rather prefer having more patience. And even then, if you do a very good market research, it turns out that dentists, they're not looking for more patients. They're either looking for better ones, private
Right.
paying patients, or they're looking for more employees. Right? So
Right.
you really got to figure out what is the pain point of the industry. A dentist is struggling with having employees. So he's not willing to pay for patients, but for more team members.
Yeah, because usually speaking, they're booked out with patients, but
Exactly.
they're either not showing up on time, they're canceling,
Exactly.
they're not paying on
Exactly.
time, right? So they just want better quality clients. Very good, very good point.
Better quality, or the next level problem is then more employees.
And what would you say, let's like as a bonus one, what is the biggest mistake when it comes to scaling your business that most people don't see and that most agencies like, because you know a lot of, let me just challenge a bit your thinking and also stretch your thinking a bit, right? What is the one mistake, the biggest mistake that most agencies would never tell their prospects they're making?
To be very honest, and I can say that as an agency owner, it is blindly relying on an agency. Yeah, it's extremely important to understand that if your business is not ready for ads, an agency won't make it any better. An agency is not there for you to build your business, figure out marketing for you. An agency is an accelerator of something that is already working very, very well.
Right.
Right? And you want to boost this, you want to scale this. But many coaches fall into the trap and say, I don't want to do marketing, I'm not a marketer, actually I don't care, so let's simply hire an agency for $1,000 a month or so and they will take care of everything.
Right.
No, they won't. They can't, and that's not their job. Yeah? And there are many agencies out there who promise you the heaven.
Right.
Right? And please don't fall into this trap then. Be realistic with yourself and with your business and know when it's the right timing for ads or for an agency. I always recommend starting off with ads your own a little bit, just step into the cold water, test it a little bit so you get a feeling for it.
Right.
Before working with an agency, so you can roughly know what kind of results can I expect.
Right.
What are these guys doing in the background? Yeah. And then once your ads are already performing and you're getting some results, then you can still hire an agency for this. Yeah. If you really don't have time at all and you need somebody who builds funnels for you and runs the ads, of course you can hire an agency right away. But make sure you're ready. Everything should be in place.
So maybe really the question that you should ask yourself right now, if you're watching this video, you're probably considering scaling your business. But maybe before doing that, ask yourself, are you doing it because you're already making sales and you would rather spend your time doing something else rather than manual prospecting, right? Or is it because you're trying to run away from the marketing and sales and you're trying to put a band-aid on the situation? Whereas, from my experience, I tried to do this for years, run away from marketing and sales, and you always end up in the same point. You have to fall in love with it, otherwise you don't have a business,
Exactly.
right? And the good news is that you can absolutely fall in love with it because it's just a skill, just like coaching, consulting, whatever skill you've learned to this point, sales and marketing is the same, right?
Yes.
And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you love it.
Yes, you learn to love it.
Yeah.
Yes, it really is like that. And I, as a marketer, I'm also not a perfect salesperson, I'm this full-time marketer who's only caring about, how to generate leads and so,
Yep.
but I'm not perfectly good at sales, and I was not used to do sales in the beginning when I started out, but at a certain point you get used to it, and
Yeah.
you learn enjoying it. If you're really trying to honestly help somebody on a call, then it's not a big deal, and
Yeah.
there's nothing you should be afraid of, right?
Sales and marketing be like, you will learn to love me.
Exactly. You will learn to love it. And you have to.
Beautiful, beautiful. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for the invitation.
My pleasure. And let us know what was your biggest insight in the comments, and absolutely check out Matthias's channel. You will find it right here.
See you there.